the Legends of Iron. I'm Jon Andersen. Meet my co-hosts, Nick Best and Akim Williams. We're going to have some amazing guests on the show. Buckle up tight, because we're going to be talking about the shit you're not supposed to be talking about. We're going to be discussing anything and everything it takes to become a Legend of Iron. Legends of Iron is brought to you by Muscle Mints. Muscle Mints is the creator of Carnivore Pure Beef Protein Icing. Beef builds muscle, and Carnivore is the world's #1 selling beef protein. And don't forget to try our new Carnivore flavor, Rocket Pop.
Oh, damn! Whoa, this is it right here.
Wow, is this protein? Delicious.
This is too good to be protein. Woo, we about to change the game with this one.
You're gonna love it. Welcome to another edition of Legends of Iron. I'm Jon Andersen. With me, always my partners in crime, Nick Best and Akim Williams. We have got a killer show for you today. This guest, he's a pro bodybuilder. I've actually been on the stage with him a few times. I think Ak has as well. But the thing that I love about this guy the most is every time I see him, he makes me fucking smile. He is one fucking cool cat. Kevin Jordan, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Thank you, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you guys bringing me on the show, and I'm looking forward to shooting shit.
Good. Before we get cracking, I've got we have one of these goddamn robot fucking vacuums, and it just turned on, and it's going to start swarming under my feet here. So I either got to turn it off or have my wife turn it off. Hey, baby, can you turn the Roomba off, or do I need to get out of the screen to do it real quick?
A vacuum.
That fucking thing, it's a robot. It turns on and does the whole fucking house by itself, but it turns on at the worst fucking times. It's going to be under my feet here. Here it comes. Give me like 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Hold on. There we go.
You can't make this shit up, man.
Oh, you can't. This is great.
Christ. You know the worst part about it? That motherfucker does a great job. Saves my life a lot of energy having to vacuum the house. But the little motherfucker always is under your feet, and the thing costs like fucking $1,200. So it's like it's a $1,200 fucking thing that bothers you all the time. You know,
$1,200 for a vacuum.
That's crazy.
Yes, it's not
John,
fucking retarded.
I want some of your problems, man.
Yeah.
Right?
I think everybody wants some of John's problems. I got a $1,200 vacuum cleaner that bugs me.
Well, this show's not about me. So let's talk about our subject at hand.
Yeah.
Kevin Jordan, what's going down, brother? Everything good with you?
Everything's good, man. I can't complain. Just taking it easy. Trying to get back in the swing of things and get on stage here soon. So, I got no complaints. Life's great right now.
Ak and I were talking. I think, have we all three been on the same stage? I know you and I have been a few times, Kevin. I know Ak and I have been, but I can't remember all three of us.
I've done a few house shows with you. I can't remember. I don't think all three of us has. I know Akim stays. He does those big shows, but he's usually on the East Coast too. But a lot. But I know you and I have done the Cal a few times for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we have.
I can remember. I remember one time specifically. Ak was at the Cal. I just don't remember if you were there that year, but he was. That's right down the road from me, so I'm always going to get that one. But he was fucking enormous that year. It was like everybody starts dropping trousers, and fucking people are just glued to fucking Big Ak.
Yeah, he's always fucking enormous.
Anyway, yeah, that's so. Oh, massive. So anyway, brother, so one of the things I'm, really curious about your opinion, we've had a lot of shit going on in terms of, deaths in the bodybuilding world, actually in all sports. But what's your take on this whole topic? I mean, shit, everybody's got their opinion. What's yours?
Honestly, it's in my opinion, it's really sad because I do feel like a lot of this stuff could be prevented, Granted, we all know the risks we take, dealing with this type of sport. But I feel like a lot of guys just neglect their health, I'd be lying if I say I wasn't one of them. There were years where I didn't go to the doctor because I didn't want to fucking know. I was scared, and that's the dumbest way to go about things, But recently I started really checking up on that stuff, especially with my age. I just turned 40, a lot of people are shocked about. But
You look like you're about 18.
I know. But with me just turning 40, that was one thing I really want to get on top of. And,
Shit, man, we getting old, man. What the hell?
getting old. We
Oh,
are old, bro.
Holy shit.
Brother, wait till
my
you
daughter's
cross
about to
into,
be 18.
Wow.
dude, wait
Easy.
till you guys cross into be 50. Nick and I'm 50. Nick's what, 53? Christ.
53, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But Kevin, Jesus Christ, you're one of those motherfuckers I'm honestly jealous about because you look like you're 25, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you do.
I get that all the time, man. But with that, it was just one of those things where I really just started getting on top of my health. I started getting more doctor visits. I got echocardiogram, cardiac MRI, just checking up on my heart. Because one thing that I'm seeing with a lot of
Calcium
guys,
test.
yeah, they are getting calcium. They are getting blood work done, but then you're not checking on your heart.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds kind of bad, but to me, I said that's like, using dental dam to eat a girl out, but then fucking having sex without a condom. That's basically what that's like. You're not taking precautions for that thing. That's kind of a horrible analogy, but
I think that was a fucking perfect analogy, to be honest. Bro. They couldn't have got any better than that. Anytime you see Nick look at the ceiling, we're entertaining well. Because he gets flustered he gets flustered when we start to entertain.
Well, yeah, man. I think it's sad. I think a lot of this stuff could be prevented. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And obviously, guys are pushing things now. When I came back, I was kind of shocked seeing how big everybody was. And it's just one of those things. The sport has progressed, and I think, like I said, it can be prevented a lot of times. So some things are going to happen, but if guys start taking care of themselves, being monitored, we could maybe prevent some of these things from happening.
Now, did you happen to see the guest posing this weekend?
Oh yeah, that was fucking crazy. Derek Walter.
You made a comment that guys are getting bigger now, and I think that was my reaction when I saw the guest posing this weekend, especially Derek and Nick. I couldn't believe how big they were.
Derek was insane, bro. Especially for his height, I don't really kiss too many people's ass. You and I have been around for a while, and I usually keep it real with you. But when I saw Derek, I even made a post in my story. I was like, holy shit, because I actually seen him compete as a middleweight at Junior Nats. So to see where he is now, it's fucking mind-blowing.
Massive pulling a vacuum, too. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah. He's just so wide. Like that front double bicep when he hit it.
Oh, my God, dude.
I'm like, what the hell?
Enormous.
And Nick's crazy looking, He's huge too, but seeing Derek like that just blew me away. Derek was by far the most impressive, in my opinion. Nick is crazy looking. I think he's crazy looking. I don't no disrespect.
From one bodybuilder to another, bodybuilder to another bodybuilder. What was your What did you take away from this weekend in terms of? I'm gonna go there. In terms of Big Ramy not showing up, what did you think?
I was like, what the fuck? I mean, my initial thought was, well, looks like he's not winning the Olympia this year. I heard it was a no-show too, so I'm like, fuck. But I hope everything's okay with him.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I heard. I mean, that's the rumor mill is that he no-showed, just didn't show up. But I mean, that could all be a bunch of bullshit. But I don't know. It's a little weird. He did not show up.
I think from my perspective, I love Ramy. I think he made a big mistake by not showing up.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, bro. Like, you got to play the game sometimes. And
not only that, but that put Derek at a new level. Like, literally, he jumped right into that spotlight.
Yeah. I mean, is he planning on doing the Open? Because I don't know how he's going to make weight for 212.
Well, from what I heard from a good source.
Wow. I mean, he's there.
I heard it from a good source too. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's there, bro. Like he's there. He's got everything.
He's not, dude. He's not making it. He's not making it down to 212. He was every bit as big as the Open guys that aren't even close to 212. There's no way that's
chop a leg off to make 212.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is he just gonna compete? Like, is he gonna be just the top half of them to make 212 or something?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, it might be better for him because I know, he was having some issues sucking down and then trying to fill back out with that weight. So, I mean, he might be good right there, And I mean, the way he looks, he might be a top 5 guy, if not higher, to be honest. Yeah. Because, to be honest, Nick looks great. Again, no disrespect, it's just my opinion, but I'm picking Derek's physique over Nick's all day. That's just me. But it'll be interesting to see those guys all on stage together. I think that was
after
a
that
huge
little
mistake of Rami
sneak.
to show up.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah, and after that sneak peek that they just had with him showing up there, everybody can't wait to see him in the open now. I mean, Jesus Christ, talk about a teaser. I mean, you saw him standing to some of the biggest guys up there, and he was toe to toe. You know,
that's why I'm saying Rami make a big mistake, because
Yeah.
I don't think he wasn't scheduled to be at that show, the guest post.
Oh, what?
No, he wasn't. If I'm correct, looking at the poster, it was top 5 from the Olympia. Because how did he can't get in? So it was gonna be Brandon, Hunter, Nick, and Rami.
Yeah, and someone probably made a call like, "Yo, get there, up there." So I don't blame him. But yeah, he looked great. I am really shocked though. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has some issues going on, but hopefully everything's okay. I love Rami. We will chat periodically. We used to work with my old sponsor, but you just hope everything's okay with him. But yeah, I mean, unless he has a major excuse.
Yeah, especially he posted. I think Dennis James posted some pictures not that long ago where he was looking pretty lean. I don't know if it was recent or whatever. So I was thinking he was gonna show up at the Pittsburgh show and shock everybody with how good he looked. But,
yeah, it definitely was like I said, it wasn't a good idea not showing up there. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's crazy too. Is normally they got fucking 10, 12 guys up there kicking ass. This year it was a little different with 4. That was the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, Rami not being there was.
They always invite the top 5 from the Olympia.
Yeah, but normally there's double-digit dudes up there.
It's always the top 5.
No, I'm saying there's the top 5 and other ones too, correct?
No.
In years past, the stage is just filled with dudes, correct?
For the Pittsburgh Pro, they always invite the top 5 from the Olympia.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. I just thought that isn't there been more in the past, or am I just fucking smoking crack here?
I think you're smoking
Kevin,
well, John.
Kevin, you remember in the past there being more than 4 guys?
I remember more, but I mean, it's been so long. I mean, to be honest, I don't remember last year. I do remember at one point there being more guys, but I'm not sure. Yeah. And I understand they're always getting the best of the fucking business there because it's Manion's show. But I always remember there's being more guys up there than just 4 or 5. But either way, Rami not being there was definitely the surprise of the show for sure. So yeah. So I heard, Kevin, you said a minute ago, you said you're getting geared up to get back on the stage. Talk to us about that. Well, I took a long break. I almost quit, honestly. I took 3 years off, came back last year, and I felt like I got in shape, but I just didn't have that size. So, I wanted to have a good off season, and I felt like I was progressing, but then I kind of hit a spot where, the last few weeks I've been way too lax. So, I wanted to compete, middle of the summer, but we're going to push another little bulking phase, which I just started. And I will probably compete more towards September or October, something like that, Like I said, last year, I don't feel like conditioning is going to be an issue. It's just that size, So there's still some body parts that I need to fill out and just bring a little more thickness, So that's the goal now.
Dude, last time you were on stage, you were fucking ripped.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where
last time you were on stage. Yeah.
Like, I think if I recall, I was the lightest guy on stage, so it was one of those things. I was actually the smallest one at like 245.
Oh, so last show you weighed 245?
Yeah, and I was the smallest guy there. So. Wow. That just shows you where the sport is now, Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I feel your pain.
You're not lying.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, guys are just big, man. It's crazy. Like guys, I hate saying no disrespect because I don't want bodybuilders are super sensitive, but there were guys I was slaughtering when I was going consistently, and then I come back and these guys shit out of me. I'm just like, whoa, So it was a little bit of a wake up call, that the sport has just progressed, and they want that size now. So just gotta keep eating them. That's been one of my issues. It's just getting that food down now. The last couple of years,
so how
the older you get, tougher it is to get all that food in. So.
What are you doing to help digest all that food? Because you have to process that if you're going to eat more. So what steps are you taking to get that in?
I'm doing a little bit more cardio now, which really helps a lot. Probiotics, digestive enzymes. My sponsor, they make some really good products, First Form, as far as that. And it's just being consistent. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys where if I'm not eating, like I lose weight. Like it's crazy. My metabolism is so fast, so where if I'm not eating constantly, I will fucking lose weight. And even if I eat fast food, if I'm eating shit food, I lose weight. It's crazy to me. So, I got to make sure I'm staying on top of it. I'm actually just got done cooking some chicken and rice now, so I'm gonna get that in and just stay consistent with it. That's been the key for me.
Got you.
Well, that doesn't change as you get older, by the way.
It gets harder. I know, trust me.
No, I have the same problem. If I'm not constantly eating, I will lose weight. I'm 310 right now, and if I don't eat at least 5 good-sized meals a day, I will drop weight. So I understand.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's what's nuts is I don't know how I was eating the portions I was back in the day. 12, 14 ounces of protein, like 2.5 cups of rice. Like there's no way I could do that shit now. I had to sit around and smoke or something all day.
No, I totally hear what you're saying, brother. As I get older myself, I'm so much more comfortable eating smaller, more frequent meals because the bigger meals, I don't process them. They'll sit too long. I can take the same value, cut it up into a few more meals, and it'll digest so much better than it would years ago. I could get away with sitting down and, borderline stuffing myself and be okay with that. I think as we get old, it's just our digestion that we have to be a little smarter with our digestion,
Yeah,
True.
for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I eat a lot of bone stock too. That seems to help.
So what are you weighing right now?
Right now I'm 270. I was up to about 285, but then like I said, I kind of dropped the ball. I got a little lax, Once I started coming off my training programs, it seems like I kind of let go a little bit, or I ease up when I should be pushing actually a little harder. Then I've had vacation, things like that. So I would like to get up to around 285, 286 before I actually start prep. But it's a lot leaner. In the past, I used to just get fat. I used to get just fat as hell. I think the heaviest I was like 293. But my face looked like the Michelin Man, etc. all that Chicago deep dish. But now I'm a lot more leaner, which I think that comes with age too. It seems like it's almost difficult to get fat, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I can eat whatever. Yeah. I really don't accumulate much body fat. So
I think
plus or minuses.
I think when you have a lot of years of training under your belt and everything like that, eventually it's a lot harder for you to get that kind of fat on your body.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It's one thing I didn't notice.
You know what it's called? It's called old man skin. That's what it's called.
It's true. It's an old man muscle, Yeah. Your body, you build that mature muscle, and it's just harder for you to put on that kind of fat.
Yeah,
especially after that years on the training. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, who said that to me the first time was Hani. He was like, we were talking. He's like, dude, he goes, you're at that age, you got the old man skin. It's real easy for you to get grainy, And I was like, okay, I'll take that as a compliment,
I mean, it is true though. Like I feel like conditioning won't be an issue at all. It's just holding on to all that muscle, So that's going to be the key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to us about your new move. You recently moved.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jon and them know what was happening with you before the move. So I don't know if you want
Let's hear it, baby. I like the sound of this.
So I live in St. Louis.
Let's go.
So I live in St. Louis, and I don't want to talk too bad about the city, but to be honest, like it's turning downhill, It usually is the murder capital almost every year, base per capita. I lived in Chicago before, but the crime is just running rampant, and my car kept getting broken into. Me and Akim joked about it before, but my car within the last year, my windows have gotten busted out at least 7 or 8 times. So,
oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
nah, man.
He's not even exaggerating. It
happened twice. Twice in 4 days.
Yeah, twice in 4 days.
Wait, hold on. Where the fuck? Where is it like getting broke? Wherever you park it, like you could be at the mall and it's going to get broken into.
Yeah, you can on the street anywhere. And I don't live in. It's not like I live in the hood. I live downtown St. Louis. Like one of my street that I live on used to be one of the biggest streets as far as restaurants and bars, but it's a type of car I have. It's a Dodge Charger. Those are, to be honest, they're notorious for like being drug dealer cars, or we call them ballers, being baller cars, you know. And these kids break into them and they're looking for guns and things like that. I actually had it was crazy. Young lady was visiting me, and we went out to eat, and I stopped by a bar, my buddy's party, and around here, I don't know where you guys are, your states as far as the carrying, but here you can carry and conceal without a permit. So I usually carry all the time, and we were going to a bar, so
No
I
shit.
my gun there. Yeah, you don't even need no wait period or anything. I can go right into a gun store, buy a gun, and walk out with it, tuck it in my waistband.
Jesus Christ. It's like, it's like the whole fucking Wild West, man.
Yeah, it is, but I love it. But yeah, you don't need a permit or anything. But we went into this club because I was going to say my buddy's birthday. 45 minutes, I put my Glock 19 in my car. Within 45 minutes, the fucking car got broken into. The gun got stolen. It was horrible. And it's so bad here.
You sound like you're making a rap song right now. This is perfect.
It's so bad here. It took a week and a half to report the gun being stolen because they're so short staffed. So it's just one of those things where crime is just taking over the city, and it's starting to, come turn into a shithole, honestly. But
so you are able to report the gun and cover your ass, right?
Yeah, bro. It literally took a week and a half. They don't usually, unless it's a violent crime, they won't send a cop out. They won't even send police officers out here because they're just so understaffed. And it's not necessarily the officer's fault, It's just city and a whole bunch of
too much demand. There's not enough personnel,
Yeah, and they couldn't pay me enough money to be a cop around here. But I moved down, and it's weird too because I moved down just a few blocks. And it's just way nicer. My place is nicer. I got a garage. I even left my car this weekend. I left my car on the street. Fine. No problem. I've done that a few times, and it's fine. So it's really where you are. Like I said, where I live, there were a bunch of bars and restaurants, so there was a lot of traffic. And the crazy thing, the last time they get broken into, we actually watched the surveillance camera because everyone was like, "Oh, someone's targeting." I'm like, "No, they're not. It's one of those things that happens." But it was pretty impressive. You watch a guy pull up to the car, gets out, breaks the window, dives in head first, and he did this shit within like 60 seconds. He was in and out. But I mean, they never did anything. One time they got the gun, that's it. But
it might be a better idea just to put a note in the car. You don't have to break the window or leave the doors unlocked. There's nothing in it. Go ahead, check for yourself.
Someone said that, and that's the thing too. I was leaving it unlocked, but it's just out of habit. When I park somewhere new, I just happen to lock it. And my windows, I had like a limo tent on it. It's a black car, so it's blacked out. So my buddy was like, bro, like they're looking at it like it's the mystery prize box. So they're just busting the window out. But yeah, it was hard. It was a little frustrating.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to him a few times about it, and I was just like, bro, I don't even know how you do it.
I mean, the thing is, I paid the car off. I'm not really a big car guy.
A few people was trying to get him to do a stakeout.
I almost sat there. There was one time where I sat there because I got an AK-47 too. I sat there with it like right by the window.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude! What the fuck? This is crazy. So you're talking about just moving a few blocks made that big of a change?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Wow. It's quiet over here. It's a condo, so it's a little more. Where I live, there was a younger crowd. There's a older crowd here, a little more mature. A little more stable. So it definitely made a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you got out of the hood, brother. It's nice that you get out of the hood rather than just 2 fucking blocks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would be losing my mind if every time I went out to my fucking car and somebody broken into it. I mean, what the fuck? It's like
after the first few times, I started leaving it unlocked, but. Like I said, if I park it in space, it's one of those things where I just kind of out of habit would lock it. So.
Yeah. A lot of times these new cars, they fucking lock themselves anyway,
Yeah.
If
you walk away for more than a couple minutes,
That's fucking crazy. Well, glad everything's going. You're digging your new place?
I'm loving it. It's awesome. So it's nicer, it's bigger. I did
just a few weeks ago, right? Just a few weeks ago you moved, right?
Yeah, last month I moved around April, beginning of April I moved. So I moved and then I ended up going to Hawaii. So it was cool. I went somewhere else too, I forgot. But got it all unpacked. I love it. So
life is good. You're traveling a lot, having fun, it sounds like. Yeah, life is good.
Yeah. I'm always having fun. That's an issue. Maybe sometimes too much fun, but I really feel for both. Things are good.
So, John, back in 2011, I think it was 2011. Me as a young rookie, decide to take my talents to Chicago and do the junior nationals. That was my first national level show. And guess who showed up?
Kevin was there, correct? I remember.
He was crazy. Wasn't just me. Compton was there. Lloyd Dollar was there.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
There was a lot. Those fucking shows were stacked with fucking talent, man.
Yeah, so he came in, John, and he cleaned the house. he won the whole thing. He won the whole thing. But you asked Kevin. From what I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard you were a little bit over the weight limit for heavyweights. Was that true?
Bro. No. So here's the thing. I wait the night before, Chad's my coach. You know that, Akim. Chad and Mel Chansey came to my room, and I was still like 231, the night before, and he had me eating. I was eating 10 ounces of steak and 2 cups of oatmeal every 2 hours, all throughout the night. And I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm gonna make this shit." And we went to go weigh in, and I was over a little bit, and I did kind of lean back on the scale slightly. And all I know is they said I made weight. So after I made weight, I bounced back up to like 230, 231, 232, something like that.
Holy shit!
But they said I made weight, bro. I didn't have any issues because I know at nationals when I won my pro card, I was over, and they fucking made me sweat that shit out. I almost got it. I almost quit. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna make it." And I had to keep running and working out, but.
How many pounds did you have to get out the last minute at nationals? How many pounds did you have to
I was over 2 pounds, but at that point I thought, I'll sit in the car because I rented a car. I was like, I'll just lay it up, sit in the car. After like an hour, not a drop of sweat came out. So I'm like, fuck, I didn't want to work out. I was looking for a sauna. And then finally Chad's like, dude, you gotta fucking work out. So I even tried doing cardio, no sweat, no nothing. And then I started doing like a little circuit. Just some light weights, and all of a sudden I felt a drop of sweat, and I'm like, oh shit. So I started going crazy. I weighed like 3 times, and finally he was like, yeah, you made it. So I was like, fuck, dude. Like it was brutal. But juniors, they said I was fine. I mean, I do know by the time the show came around, I was like 7 pounds over. But they said I was fine. I mean, obviously we were taking, things with water that were gonna help out, and I sucked a lot of water out, but I mean, they said I was good, so I don't know.
I'm not going to lie. That was my first time ever competing at a national level show. And before that, all the local shows, I was winning everything. So my first defeat was at your hands.
Yeah, and look what happened. You gained like fucking.
That was the first time I ever lost a show.
Yeah, you and Compton. He said the same thing. He's like, every night I just eat and thinking about it. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
You both blew up after that.
You definitely lit a fire under me after that because I'm like, holy shit. Like that's what it takes to be at a national level show. Because you looked amazing that year, man.
Yeah, it was fun. Man. Honestly, that's like. It's kind of hard to kind of get that passion back because back then it was like
it was fun. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was one of those things that was fun, and it kind of became one of those things where it became a job, and that's when it starts happening like that, you kind of lose the passion.
Use the fun,
Yeah, and I feel like I got that back a little bit, but back in the day, man, those shows were crazy. Like
I know, it's like you did it for the competition,
Yeah,
you did it. You weren't thinking about a pro card or anything like that. You were just doing it, for the competition, for the love of it.
No, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I feel like I got that back, but it was totally different back in the day, man. Yeah, it was crazy. So, and you don't see shows like that anymore. You look at the last couple of years. No disrespect to anybody, but it's nothing like that. You know,
that last year that we did it in 2011, that was like pretty much the last year that you saw like a really good crop of bodybuilders doing a show like that.
And I don't get it honestly because. I in a way I do. People don't want to do juniors because they're like, oh, it's not a pro qualifier. I'm wasting. But to me, my entire life changed after I won that show. Like everything just kind of took off. I got my first sponsorship. I was getting paid as an amateur. I did a huge spread with MD. Bleckman called me. I was in Flex nonstop. So it was awesome. So I tell everybody, I'm like, man, unless you feel like you're like 1 or 2 into a profile fighter, you definitely should do a junior show. You're gonna put your face out there, get your name out there, just make you more of a household name. So I always recommend it. Like that show to me has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's in a minute, but
So that sounds like that might be your favorite bodybuilding moment, that show, yeah?
Honestly, it was. It was pretty awesome. Winning my pro card was pretty special too. But when the moment I won juniors, it was really awesome. The pro card thing didn't set in until days later, almost a week later. I'm like, holy shit, I won. Like, I was sitting around, and I'm not gonna lie, I started crying a little bit like a little girl. I was like, oh shit, I did it. But the junior thing, it was awesome. I knew right away. I knew things were gonna lift off. Like Blackman called me. I was judging. I started getting calls. Sponsors started rolling in. So that I would say that was my favorite moment, to be honest.
Wow.
So let's flip the script. What's your most frustrating bodybuilding moment?
Most frustrating? Most frustrating. Most frustrating just seeing some of the things that have happened in the sport. Not necessarily my own moment, but just seeing, like you said, the deaths, the way it's kind of taken a turn, certain things, how social media has impacted it so much. And I'm a huge social media guy. I love it, but sometimes I'm just like, fuck, come on, There are guys who can't even get sponsorships because they don't have a good social media following. Things like that. See stuff like that, But personally, maybe missing my peak. That would be, like I've done that a few times. I can't remember the exact moments, but I would say those other things are a little more frustrating in my opinion, And to be honest, a lot of them have like the sponsorship thing. It's never really affected me, but just to see, some guys struggling to compete, and juggle jobs and make ends meet along with this lifestyle because it's not cheap. But to see that, it is a little frustrating, when you have these guys who haven't done a fucking thing in the sport, they're just social media guys who don't even compete, making, in some cases, millions of dollars just because of their popularity, So to me, that's a little frustrating, but that's just the way the world is,
Yeah. I definitely see the frustration with the whole social media thing in terms of, like you said, sponsorship. It affects sponsorships a whole lot, and sometimes that's all the sponsors care about is what type of following you have and what impact and stuff like that. And it just shouldn't be that way,
No, it shouldn't, and
especially when you're a competitor.
Yeah, people ask me how can I get sponsored, and I'm like, honestly, it's a totally different world now. Unless you have a huge following, you're probably not going to get a sponsorship. You know what I mean? Even if you could be one of the best in the world, but there's guys right now we could name. The people in Olympia, Arnold, don't have any sponsors. Tons.
True.
So it's just the way the world is now.
Yeah. What's your take on the judging now, brother?
Like I said, it just took a little bit getting used to. Like, to be honest, they want these bigger guys, and even in the NPC, you can see that. A local guy I know just competed, and he looked incredible, and he lost to a guy that was bigger. They want that big muscle. Maybe it's a way to kind of differentiate the classes, because you do have classic now, so that could be it. But I do know, they want those bigger guys now. So if you don't have that size, you're probably not going to do too well, But I don't think the judging's bad. I think for open bodybuilding, you got to be fucking big. That's what it is. It is, you got to be big. I mean, unless you're fucking Clarita, who has that perfect little package on that frame, but you got to be big, and that's rare. But you got to be big.
Even for his size, he packs so much muscle. It's insane, man.
Crazy, bro.
It's
crazy.
Insane.
He looks like Shredder smoked ooze on him or something, like Ninja Turtles. He looks fucking crazy. That kid was tough. He's strong as fuck too. It's insane. They got to strap him down because he's so light to lift.
We train at the same gym sometimes, and sometimes I see some of the weight team move, and I'm like, holy shit, like, it's crazy. I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm saying that.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
I don't know, man.
They want the size. They want that size now, and I get it. Like I said, maybe that's it. They want to kind of differentiate the classes a little more, separate them, but they want that size. Even some of the
speaking of Clarita, you think he's going to do? He could actually go into 212s and the open. What do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to
I
do
don't
both?
think if he could do both, I would do him, but I don't think he can. I think they said he couldn't do both.
Yeah, I think they
Oh,
said
really?
he couldn't do both.
Yeah, he can't do both. So I mean,
gotta
me
make a
personally,
choice.
I would do the 212 if I was him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's going to be impressive, but let's be real. He looked great in that show he won, the Legion show he won. At the Olympia, I don't see him making that type of impact. You know, he will do good, but imagine him in a lineup with a Rami or a Walker. You know, I just don't see that. But that's my opinion.
It would just be cool to see somebody that was actually qualified for both, that got a chance to step on stage in both classes. That's pretty fucking cool. You know?
Yeah, if they let him do both, then I'd say go for it, do both. I'm almost positive they said he couldn't do both, which I don't see why. You know, it's kind of silly in my opinion.
What do you think, Doc? You think?
I think they want to stay away from all that crossover stuff because it'll just make stuff way too complicated.
Yeah.
Because if he decided crossover, what's to say somebody that, let's say, Chris Bumstead did an open show and he won, then you would have Chris Bumstead doing both classic and open show. It just makes it too complicated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I could see that. For the Olympia, you got to choose. Anything else, you can go where you want, but for the Olympia, you got to pick one class. I can see that.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you'd have to go through judging twice. You'd have to go through judging twice too, wouldn't you? In each class to be compared against both. And then, you're going to be posing twice as much.
And then also you'd have to make that justification for the two classes. It's like a bikini girl doing bikini and then she's doing figure. You're gonna be like, okay, she won bikini. How come she's winning figure also? Like what gives her, like, you know?
Yeah.
You'll have to make that differentiation between the two classes. Yeah. So it'll make things a little bit too complicated. Yeah.
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 Then you can make the argument, like, what's the point of having 212 then? If he could do open and 212, what's the point of having 212?
That is a good point right there.
Yeah. Look at that, Locke. You're putting some serious. I mean, I would have never thought about this shit. Jesus Christ, that's good stuff, Hawk. There we go. Kevin, would you have thought of it that way? Fuck, that was all over.
No, not at all. But it does make a good sense, a good point. You know, if he's doing this, why even have the 212? So
exactly,
that does make good sense. But me personally, if I was him, I'd say 212, especially if Derek's possibly moving up. Yeah. Because to be honest, I love Derek. Great fucking guy. I had Clear winning last year. You know, I thought it was that close. So why not go for another title? You know? Yeah,
true. And I mean, to his credit, if Derek is not doing 212, I don't see anybody really beating Sean Clarita. No. You know, if he brings it like how he brings it, like how he brought it last year and the year before that, he's hard to beat, man.
Yeah, I don't see anyone either.
Yeah. So, brother, talk to us about you and what started this all for you. What was there a moment that's like, holy shit, I got to be a bodybuilder?
Well, I played sports growing up. You know, I've always been fascinated with working out. And I think like most bodybuilders, you know, you were into comic books and superheroes, things like that. You know, seeing Incredible Hulk, things like that. But I played, you know, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. Again, unfortunately, I like to have a little too much fun, but I actually was kicked off of every sport my senior year. I lost about 25 Division I scholarship football. Still managed to go to.
Hold on.
Yeah, it was
hold
bad.
on. Back up. You got to tell us about that.
There's a story there.
What does the guy have to do? Hold on. What does the guy have to do to get kicked off every fucking team in a year in high school sports? This got to be good.
The problem was, you know, I was so young and I was hanging around these older kids. Like when I was a sophomore, I was starting varsity football. So, you know, I'm 15 going to parties with these 17, 18-year-old kids. And, you know, I learned I like vodka a little early, at an early age. I got caught drinking, you know, and it happened twice. The second time, actually, it's kind of interesting. This is really interesting, but the second time, so basically I got caught drinking at a talent show. We had this talent show in high school. But then there was a party over the summer where the cops came and everything. And just because an officer said he smelled alcohol in my breath, that was my second violation. So I was kicked off all sports. And it actually went to a huge lawsuit. Like I ended up suing my city, the school, and the police department.
No shit.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. I had to file like a court injunction to practice football.
I mean, you lose scholarships. A scholarship's like $200,000. You know, back
Yeah,
in those
we ended
days,
up.
it was easy couple
It
$100
went.
grand.
Yeah, it didn't get that. We didn't get that much, but we ended up settling the lawsuit out of court like 6, 7 years later for like 70 grand, which at that time there really wasn't a whole lot, but we did get paid out of it. But at that time the damage was done. I was already graduating college and
Yeah.
everything, so um, at that point I kind of lost the love for football. I still ended up going to college and playing, but I went to a D3, and at that point I was just kind of going through the motions. I just did it to stay in school, but I was partying, looking for girls at that point. But I say in college, that's where I really started to fall in love with weight training. You do strength and conditioning, and my roommate, he was huge. He was a All-American wrestler, and I remember reading my first muscular development magazine was from him. So we would, after our weight training sessions, we would always stay and do a little more volume training. And that's where the bodybuilding aspect kind of came into play. So after college, I started, dabbling a little bit more into it, and this is kind of a funny story too. So I have a daughter, and after I graduated college, I had her immediately. Right after I graduated college, my daughter's mom, her parents were just extremely wealthy, so she didn't want me to work. So they pretty much gave me a salary to stay home with my family for like a year and a half. So I didn't work. I just hung out. yeah, it was nuts. Hung out.
It'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, it was a great situation. But after about a year, I was looking for a job, and I just happened to be walking by a gym, and I was like, let me, try something like this for now. And that's where I met my first trainer and coach. His name was Keith Hunter, Natural Pro. And I actually watched him go through like a transformation to get ready for the show. And I was like, you know what? I might want to try something like this. Because at the point, I was kind of lost as far as careers. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a degree in exercise physiology. I did start grad school, but it was one of those things where I just couldn't finish it with the schedule. So I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I was going to get a job as a juvenile probation officer, but that fell through. I thought that would have been a good career to have and try to kind of mentor kids and help them with their life. But that fell through, and I ended up taking a job at this gym where I train clients, and just watching this guy go through this contest, I was like, you know what? I think I could do that. I think I could be pretty good at it, actually. So I tried it. I did my first show, which was an NPC show, and at the time I was natural. I got my ass kicked, but I was kind of hooked. So after that, I was like, I want to make sure I compete on a level field. So I did a couple of natural shows, and I turned pro my second natural show and realized that honestly it was kind of a joke as far as natural bodybuilding goes. If you want to have a career, not the entire sport of it, but just you really can't make any
monetizing it.
No, not at all. Yeah. Maybe now you can, with social media, but back then you couldn't. So
yeah, those days there was no fucking way.
No, not at all. So I wanted to take it to the next level. Obviously I started, my supplement regimen, and it was nuts. I put on like 20 fucking pounds the first month, and I decided to do an NPC show. And I remember the first show I wanted to do was going to be Illinois State, because I wanted to meet Phil Heath. It was right when he started taking off. But then my buddy mentioned Chad Nichols in a show in Missouri called The Muscle Mayhem, and I was like, oh shit, isn't that Ronnie Coleman's trainer? Maybe I, could meet this guy. It's a little bit of a closer show. So I jumped into that, and I remember going to weigh in. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a light heavy. And I hopped on the scale. His wife, Kim, was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, light heavy. She's like, well, you weigh 210. There's no way you're going to be a light heavy. I'm panicking, thinking I'm going to get my ass kicked. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I ended up winning the show, winning overall. And I got to meet Chad backstage, and we talked, and we hit it off perfectly. And from there, he became, we had a couple conversations, and we decided to work together. And from there, I was like, I want to go all in on this. And it was a wrap for me. I was in love. I was hooked already. So I started looking at the magazines, the flexes, the muscle mags, the muscle development, even the ABC mags. And I was like, I could be one of these guys, And I just felt like I could make a career out of it. Bodybuilding's not one of those things where you're going to be rich or famous, but I mean, you can be, but for the most part, if I can make a career out of this, get paid, travel, and love doing what I do, then that's it for me. I was good. So.
Now, I find very interesting, right? You're one of the only guys, so pretty much one of the guys that I know who have, since you started your career, have stuck with the same coach. You don't see that at all.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, honestly, I feel like every time I've done that, or you know, it's been my fault. You know what I mean? Like, his track record speaks for itself. I mean, Chad's won multiple Olympias, things like that. Bodybuilding's one of those things where your mind will fuck with you. I don't know. I mean, I've actually witnessed you before. Oh, I'm flat. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you look enormous. I'm like, stop eating. I remember one time in Chicago. Because my thing, like, personally, like, everybody wants to win. There's been times where I told you, I'm like, bro, I remember when you turned pro, I was like, I looked at his picture, I'm like, when did you take this? And he's like, last night. I'm like, you fucking won this show. And he's looking at me like, are you fucking with me? I'm like, no, bro, you won. And you won the whole show. But it's one of those things, you know, like, it can fuck with your mind a little bit. And with me, I start dropping so fast, you know. I might sneak a little something here and there, you know, or I feel flat, this and that, you know. But 90% of the time, when I've fucked up or when I've had a bad place, it's all been my fault, you know. I can't blame him at all, you know. And we get along great. He knows my body. He knows how I respond. I'm not one of those people you have to babysit here and there. Give me a plan, I'll fucking do it. So it works great, you know. And there are really good coaches. Have I contemplated it? Yeah, I thought about it. You know, there's a short list of people I would like to work with because you see what they do and it looks great. But I never thought that was the thing for me, to bounce around from coach to coach. And not to mention, even though it is a business, him and I are like family now. You know, like we literally are family.
No, I'm saying that to say that you see a lot of the newer generation bouncing around from coach to coach to coach. Like, you know, somebody would have one prep, and next thing you know, they were that coach, and then they were this coach, and then like it makes no sense, you know?
No, it doesn't. And for me, a lot of times you see these guys, they have their best showing ever, and then they switch coaches. I'm like, what? Like, it even happens in other divisions too. I don't get it, you know, but to each their own.
What would the advantage be to doing that?
I have no idea.
Well,
your coach is going to learn your body, isn't he? He's going to learn how.
Yeah, well, usually what it is, brother, it's an athlete that thinks that, oh, it's the coach's fault, when in actuality, there's a whole lot of variables. It's not one thing that fucks somebody up, you know? The athlete, just like, you know, anytime you're in that state, your mind is all fucked up. And you justify doing shit that you would never justify if you weren't all fucked up. And then in many cases, people are not honest about it. That's the fucking worst thing. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, if you're honest, there's something to go with. But if you're not being honest with the person who's coaching you, he's fucking blind, you know?
I think it also has to do a lot with social media also. Like, what's the next hot thing? For example, let's say Kevin does really well in the show, and I'm looking at him like, oh, who did he work with? I should work with that person also. So you don't even give your coach time enough to like learn your body or anything like that. So social media plays a big part in the sport of bodybuilding, man. You know, everybody always want to be on the next hot thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And like in turn, you know, they look at the coach's social media like, oh, he's posting me this and that. I've had local athletes. I remember one kid, he got upset because I wouldn't post his pics on my page. I'm like, what? Like, it's my fucking page. I post what I want to post on there. You know?
Really?
You didn't pay me to post you paid me to post you. So, yeah.
So
that
he expected you to put his stuff on your page because you were working with him.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't end too well.
Imagine not. Like, sorry.
Yeah, but the musical coaches thing is definitely, I think you're correct, Doc. There's a huge piece of social media driving that, because it's like, you know, it's whatever seems hot, people run to it, you know, and obviously like what you're doing, Kevin, you're sticking with somebody who's got a track record. He knows your body. I'm a fan of that attack, because you know he's good, and he knows your body, and that's the formula for success right there. You know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I just got to do it and follow everything to a T, and we have success when I do. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking a little bit about your diet. How obviously as you get older, you know, putting on mass is tougher unless you're eating all the time. Talk just a little bit about how training is. How's training different as you've gotten a little older?
Training, it's become a little bit more, what's the word? What am I looking for here? I feel like training, like, it's become a little more instinctive, you know, like I feel like there's certain things I know work for me. I know how to train certain body parts now. There's certain things that I don't do because they don't work for me. Like, where back in the day I would, you got to do this, you know, like, I think that's bullshit, you know. I've always been more of a volume guy. So, you know, it was kind of hard getting out of that a little bit, switching over to like, you know, more high intensity type things like that. So just mixing it up a little more, doing those things for me, and just kind of switching the variables up a lot more. You know, all those things have taken place. You know, for a while though, it was just one set way constantly, and that worked. But you know, your body starts to adapt to that. So I feel like you do have to change that up a little bit. But then also, like I said, you have to kind of learn your body, learn what works with you. You know, I've been in this almost 15 years now, so I feel I know certain thing that works for me, and I am still learning. You know, which is the cool thing about this. You know, so I feel like you can always continue to learn. You know, but that's definitely helped out a lot. You know, just mixing things up a little bit, using what works with me along with those new things, and just kind of going from there. And then just being safe. You know, like obviously, you know, us being bodybuilders, we want to push things all the time, but I feel like there's a point where you gotta, you know, use your head and be a little logical about things. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with injuries. And fortunately, I've never had any. So, you know, I've always been thankful for that.
Yeah, sometimes being logical is not always easy, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But it's crazy looking back. Like I even look at some of my old training clips. And I'm like, there's no way I would do this shit right now. Like, probably end up hurting myself or something like that. You know. So there's a fine line you got to walk. You know, you can't be doing these ballerina workouts, but you also got to be a little smarter, especially when you get up to my age. You know, it's all about longevity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So with all the experience you've had, you've been doing this a long time. What advice would you give to the up and comers, the guys that are kicking and scratching to get to the top? What's your advice to them?
Consistency. Just focus on consistency, your food, and just that tunnel vision. You know what I mean? These days it's so easy to get distracted, especially like we talked about with the social media thing. Don't worry about that stuff. Way too many kids I know are worried about sponsors. I don't think you should even be thinking about a sponsor until you get to like pro qualifying stage of your career. You know, and it's kind of annoying, and I don't want to say disrespectful, but you know, you have kids at local shows. How can I get sponsored? How can I get sponsored? I haven't competed yet. How can I get sponsored? I'm like, what the fuck? Why would I pay you? No one knows you. You've never even competed. You know, like I get it, but you got to be a little realistic about things also. So I would say just keep your nose down and just be consistent and grind. You know, so that's really the main thing that I would say to people: is consistency.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you strip it all away, it's the time. It's not doing this for a few months or a few years. It's doing this for a few decades that makes you good. You know.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Everybody wants that overnight success. You know. Like, it's not going to happen. So you can end up hurting yourself.
Like you said, it goes all the way back to social media because you know people post so much fake shit on there, man. It's crazy, you know. You see that life. You see people, you know, pulling up in Lamborghinis and you know pulling up to the gym in Lamborghinis and all this other shit, and you want like, oh, how can I have that? You know, and a lot of them they don't think realistic that's probably a fucking rental or some shit, you know.
Exactly, bro. And that's my thing is on my social media, I try to be me. You know, like what you see is a facade on there. You and I both know that. Everyone highlights the good shit. You know, they don't post the bad stuff. That's why I post literally everything. If some dumb shit happens, like my car getting broken into, I post it. You know, I'm a normal fucking person. So
like I was watching this podcast, and I don't know if you guys know who Kevin Samuel is. He just passed away. So he was talking on this podcast, and he was talking about the fact that he had a party one time, a job party, and he went out and he hired an escort. He went out and hired like the most beautiful escort that he could find because he wanted to impress everybody at his job.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
It happens though, man. It happens all the time.
So it's kind of like the same concept. Like, you know, he shows up with this beautiful girl, you know, and everybody at his job thinking like, wow, he has this hot chick, you know. And then people like from social media, you know, they look at like, let's say they look at my life and they're like, oh, you know, he's probably living like this lavish life, and you're like, you know, but it's not the case, you know. People get so fooled and so like misconstrued by what they see on social media.
What blows me away is if it's not yours. I mean, it's like it's just, how does a person pretend that that's their life when it's not? To me, that makes no sense. It's like, that's the whole drive is to go get that shit. That's what makes it fucking fun.
That's what they see on social media, and that's what they want to do. You know, they want to get, people posting that fake life, and everybody wants to emulate what they see on social media, especially the younger generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like posting pics in front of cars that aren't yours. Like I would never understand that in my life.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what are you doing? So,
Well,
Exactly.
I can understand if it's like your sponsor's car and it's a big glowing neon Ferrari that has like the company's name all over it, then I could understand that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's posting with some car that ain't yours just to
It happens
further
all the
yourself.
time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because
That's
I took
crazy.
a picture with the big green Ferrari. That was my sponsor's car.
Nick's defending himself. He's making sure. He's making sure.
You try to cover your eyes, huh, Nick? That's funny. So
Yeah.
Nick is
But
Nick is
the
part
best
of the
part of the
problem.
video was, the best part though was I actually got in the car and drove the car. So that
But
that
you
was
didn't
kind of
say,
cool. And I'm
look
like
at my-
jammed
you
in there
didn't-
holding
you-
the steering wheel like this.
But the question is, did you say, look at my quote, my new Ferrari or whatever the fuck it was? Did you? That's
Absolutely
the
not.
issue.
No.
That's the issue.
Yeah,
is
no.
that people are insinuating that this vehicle is theirs when
Is
actuality
theirs.
it's a prop or it's a fucking sponsor, and that's the.
Right.
I mean, to me, that just takes the fun away from go getting it, because you go get that shit, then you can make the fucking post. Then the post is fun. It's not just fucking, it's not just bullshit, But I guess it's a new generation,
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin, what would you say in bodybuilding? What has been the best piece of advice that you've gotten along the way?
Again, just the consistency, man. Over the years, every top pro I talk to, just consistent. Be consistent with everything. Your workouts, your food, consistency. That's literally the best advice I've gotten.
All right, then let's flip the script then. So let's go another direction. You get in a time machine and go back in your life to give yourself a piece of advice. How far do you go back? How old are you? What do you tell yourself? What's the best piece of advice you can give yourself at any point in your lifespan?
I really don't know if I would do that, to be honest. I don't. As crazy
Wow.
as it sounds, I feel like everything that I've experienced in my life has made me who I am. Obviously, hypothetically, I would go back and give myself stock market tips and bullshit like that, to bet on. But, I literally probably would change the thing. I really don't have too many regrets. And it's even looking with bodybuilding, I feel like if I would have stayed in those 3 years, I could have been somewhere else. But that all happened for a reason, maybe
good,
something would have happened to me. So I really don't know if I would do that, as crazy as that sounds.
I agree. Go ahead, Ak.
John, he's the first guest that actually declined that question.
Yeah, I'm totally with it.
That absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
That means you're content with who you are.
That question gets asked of every single guest, and yours is the first unique answer of basically saying, Yeah, so basically, I was asked that question on a podcast. I was like, what a fucking great question. I'm going to fucking have to use this, But my answer was, I told myself, fucking do what you do, but go a little harder, meaning just do more of what you did.
Yeah, something like that. I could definitely see something like that. But as far as,
but I love it because you're not living with regret, and that's the fucking best part about it. That's the fucking stellar part about your answer. You're not looking back with regret because fuck. We all know it, looking back, who wants to fucking live with that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a big believer things happen for a reason,
Yeah. I'll be happy
absolutely.
to fall on my face and get back up and try again, but I'll never have to wonder what if, fuck that shit,
Yep.
So I love it, bro. That was a ripping fucking answer, brother. Good fucking shit,
Thank you.
Yeah, so we had you on here for about an hour, brother. This has been a fucking really fun show. Just like I said in the beginning, you fucking make me smile, brother. But I got one more question for you before we head out. So you've had a huge impact in the bodybuilding world. You're a cool cat. Just you as a person, man. Like I said, I always love to see you because you're always going to make me smile. That's just you. So obviously, like I said, you've had a great impact in the bodybuilding world. But when this is all over, what is Kevin Jordan? What is that? What do you want to be remembered for?
So that's what I want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
Someone who had fun. Again, maybe not too much fun as I normally do, but someone who had fun. Someone who brought their own flair to things, who was unique, a little bit different. I feel like I'm all those things, you know, but not just a typical meathead bodybuilder, you know, someone who has personality, charisma, who could talk to people. You know, I feel like that's one of my gifts in life. I can talk to literally anyone, any race, any age, anything, and hit it off well. Being a people person, being friendly, you know, being loving, kind, things like that. You know, those are things that I.
Brother, let me tell you, you already got that shit covered because that's you. So all you got to do is keep doing what you're doing, because I mean, literally, when Ox said you were coming on, I was like, fucking right on. You know, you were actually on my list of people I wanted to reach out to, but Ox said it was going to cause like fucking perfect, because I know I'm gonna have fun on that podcast. You know,
yeah.
So,
but at the end of the day, man, I still feel like I got some good years left, so I want to, get my first win and try and get back up there at Akim's level, things like that. So, you know, all those things in combination.
I think your strategy is actually a good one. You know, do something towards the ending of the year.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself some time to, you know, and go hard for the ending of the year and do something big, you know?
Yeah. I'm not trying to walk into a gunfight with a knife. You know how it is.
Listen, man, you got all the tools, man. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, you got all the tools. You're not slouch when it comes to that. So.
Yeah, just gotta, you know, just really put my mind to it. That's the thing, you know? So, you know, I'm ready now. I'm excited. So as soon as we get done this, I'm gonna eat and probably go to the gym. Think about how big Akim is to try and get there.
I love
What show you doing, by the way?
So before we wrap,
my plans right now is probably to do Tampa Pro.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you were doing something sooner or not. So I know New York.
No. I'm gonna do Tampa.
It's a good show.
I was having a little issues with the whole coaching situation, but you know, I'm figuring it out. And Tampa, you know.
Yeah, cool. Well, good luck, bro.
Thank you, man.
Great seeing someone like you. You know what I mean? Because we kind of came up together, and you're probably one of the last remaining. And now to see where you are, it's motivating too. So you know, I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much, bro.
No problem.
Yeah, that's fucking really cool, man. Really cool. So, Nick, you got anything else for Kevin before we wrap it up?
It was a pleasure meeting you and doing the podcast with you. This was amazing. I learned a lot today.
Likewise. Thank you.
I think a lot of the things you said for the younger guys, being consistent on everything that you do is what's going to get you to where you're going. So I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you for taking your time.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Only thing I got to say is, before you leave, try to resolve thing with Hank, please.
That's my boy, bro. You know, we just fuck around, but he's hilarious. He talks so much shit. You guys probably don't know what's going on. Hank's Kim knows him. He's a guy from New York. He's actually he's an actor, and we go back and forth
they go back and forth on Facebook every day.
Like little kids every day. We call each other the worst names, but we're in a group chat. We talk literally every day. But like it's one of those things where like people are like, "Are you guys serious? Are you gonna fight? What's going on?" But like. We joke around, and if you guys don't know, like I said, he's an actor, but I give him so much shit because he's one of those guys where he talks so much shit, but then all of a sudden you're like, holy fuck, where are you? He'll be with like P. Diddy or some type of superstar. Like he was Conor McGregor's security guard, things like that. But his biggest role as an actor was in this show. What was the name of The Godfather of Harlem? That was about this legendary gangster, Bumpy Johnson, and he had this enforcer who worked for him. And this is a true story of this guy who would rape other men. His name was Big Dick Buster. So Hank played Big Dick Buster. So I give him tons of shit about that. But his scene, he walks in.
Is this a movie or is this a real?
No, it's an
digest this properly here.
So it was a show. It's a show, but the guy was a real life guy. He was an enforcer.
Oh fuck.
For like the mob, and he would rape men. And so like Hank's scene, he walks in, and I'm like, I didn't know anything about this until I seen it. I'm like, what's going on? And they got this guy strapped on the table, and you see Hank walk in, and he unzips his pants. I'm like, no, what the fuck? And you hear the guy just screaming. But I give him so much shit. Like Kim knows about it. Like we go back and forth like brothers. So
oh fuck,
it's always a fun time,
brother. We're definitely gonna have you come back on, brother, because this was too much fun, and there's plenty of shit for us to talk about. Fuck, we're just getting into the juicy stuff. We'll wrap it up. You know?
I would love it.
Well, thank you for coming on, brother. There's another edition of Legends of Iron, everyone. I'm sure that Kevin Jordan has dropped some really, really good pearls of life on you to basically inspire you and motivate you to become the best version of yourself, because that's why we're here. There you have it. We'll see you next time. Legends of Iron is brought to you by Muscle Mints.
Eating like a bodybuilder is not cheap. I mean, have you seen the recent cost of steaks lately? Thankfully, I'm able to get all my meals in and hit my macros for just a fraction of the price with Carnivore Lean Meal, Muscle Mints' newest innovative whole food meal replacement.
Compare Carnivore Lean Meal to a typical bodybuilding meal. Carnivore Lean Meal stacks up in protein and carbs with none of the fat, but a carnivore shake is only about $3 per meal.
Get my 6 meal in. This is what I use right here. This is meal number 6. It's my Carnivore Lean Meal. It's a combination of carbs combined with protein. It's actually made from real sweet potatoes and white potatoes, so can't beat that. Tastes awesome. Love that product.
And to top it all off, guys, it's lactose-free and sugar-free. Stop overpaying for your meals and eat clean with Carnivore Lean Meal. It's better than any meal you can cook yourself at a fraction of the price.